So, Sophie Cunningham, it happened again. The WNBA have fined her again.
Well, the WNBA fined me for
nose.
Hello and welcome back to the Baseline Pro. I hope you're all doing great. Today, I have another exciting and fascinating video for you, and I hope you enjoy every minute of it. Be sure to stay with me until the very end because you won't want to miss what's coming next. So, without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into today's video. To begin, it's important to acknowledge the WNBA's history. I understand the struggles, sacrifices, and battles that players and teams have endured over the years to help the league reach where it is today. I'm genuinely grateful for everything that came before and for those who helped build the foundation of the league. Now, the WNBA finds itself at the center of another major controversy. Following Sophie Cunningham's shocking comments, the league has reportedly entered full damage control mode. Her remarks have sparked outrage, fueled heated debates across the basketball community, and ultimately resulted in a significant fine that many believe was meant to silence the growing controversy. The situation has left fans asking whether the league believed Cunningham crossed the line or whether she was simply speaking an uncomfortable truth. As reactions continue to pour in, players are quietly voicing their opinions, fans remain deeply divided, and tensions are rising by the day. One thing is clear: this story has grown far beyond the game itself. It's no longer just about basketball, it's about freedom of expression, league policies, and the future direction of the WNBA. This is the story behind the fine that everyone is talking about. The WNBA has been shaken by a controversy surrounding Sophie Cunningham, who has found herself at the center of one of the league's biggest storylines this season. In an unusually strong response, the league has reportedly issued her multiple fines, drawing widespread attention and sparking debate among fans and players alike. What began as a lighthearted social media post quickly escalated into a much larger conversation about player expression, officiating, and the league's priorities. The controversy started after a game filled with questionable officiating, when Cunningham posted a short TikTok video joking about the referees. In the 10-second clip, she lip-synced to a Sabrina Carpenter song and added the caption, "At some refs," clearly poking fun at the officiating. Shortly afterward, she revealed on her social media accounts that the WNBA had fined her $500 for the post. The punishment caught many people off guard, with fans and fellow players questioning whether such a light-hearted video truly warranted disciplinary action. Reacting to the fine, Cunningham appeared to take the decision in stride while also expressing frustration with the league. She suggested that there were far more important issues facing the WNBA than policing a brief TikTok aimed at referees. Her comments quickly gained traction online, with supporters arguing that the league's response was excessive and critics defending the decision as necessary to protect officials from public ridicule. Rather than letting the matter fade away, Cunningham continued addressing the controversy in a podcast appearance. Instead of simply defending her original post, she openly discussed her growing frustration, expanding the conversation beyond the initial fine and fueling an even larger debate about player voices, league discipline, and the relationship between athletes and WNBA officials. Cunningham didn't stop with a brief social media post. She expanded on her views in a podcast, describing what she believed was a deeper frustration shared by many players regarding the consistency of WNBA officiating. Her comments intensified the conversation and, according to the narrative, resulted in another, much larger fine of $1,500. The decision only added fuel to an already growing controversy, with many fans questioning whether the league was discouraging players from speaking openly about issues they considered important. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 93% of viewers who watch our videos haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, takes just a second, and it helps the channel grow tremendously. Have you subscribed already? If you have, thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the story. With a reported total of $2,000 in fines, the WNBA appeared to send a strong message. However, Cunningham showed little sign of backing down. Instead, the controversy quickly spread throughout the basketball world, igniting passionate discussions across social media. Supporters rallied behind her, with hashtags in her defense gaining momentum as fans debated whether the league's disciplinary actions were fair or excessive. Many supporters also began comparing Cunningham's situation with that of other high-profile WNBA players, including Caitlin Clark. They questioned why Cunningham was fined repeatedly for criticizing officiating, while other players who have drawn significant media attention had not faced similar disciplinary measures. Those comparisons fueled even more debate, although each incident involved different circumstances and league policies. Public support for Cunningham continued to grow. GoFundMe campaigns reportedly appeared almost immediately, with supporters raising enough money to cover her fines within hours. At the same time, petitions calling for greater transparency in officiating and a more consistent approach to league discipline attracted thousands of signatures. For many fans, the issue had become much larger than one player or one fine. It had evolved into a broader discussion about accountability, fairness, and the relationship between players and league officials. Cunningham's story is now being viewed by many as a symbol of a league at a crossroads. Questions about fairness, transparency, and players' ability to voice concerns continue to dominate the conversation. As support for her grows and more voices join the debate, the WNBA faces increasing pressure to address concerns about officiating and disciplinary standards. Whether Cunningham's stance ultimately leads to meaningful change or creates unforeseen consequences remains to be seen, but the discussion surrounding free expression in the league shows no signs of slowing down. The controversy has also prompted comparisons with other professional basketball leagues. In the NBA, outspoken figures such as Charles Barkley and Draymond Green have built reputations for openly criticizing officials and league decisions throughout their careers. Those comparisons have led many fans to ask whether the WNBA should adopt a different approach to handling public criticism from its players, making Cunningham's case part of a much broader conversation about freedom of expression in professional sports. Charles Barkley, in particular, became one of basketball's most recognizable personalities not only because of his playing career, but also because of his willingness to speak candidly about the sport and its shortcomings. Fans have long embraced that level of honesty, viewing outspoken criticism as part of the culture of professional basketball. Open debate, tough opinions, and public criticism of officiating have often been accepted as part of the conversation surrounding the NBA. According to this narrative, Sophie Cunningham's experience has been very different. After publicly criticizing WNBA officiating and expressing concerns about player safety, including comments involving Caitlin Clark, she reportedly faced disciplinary action rather than open dialogue. What began as an expression of frustration allegedly escalated into a warning from league officials that future criticism could lead to additional fines. Whether interpreted as an effort to maintain professionalism or discourage public criticism, the incident sparked a wider debate about how much freedom players should have to voice their opinions. Supporters argue that the contrast between the NBA and WNBA is difficult to ignore. While outspoken comments are often tolerated, or even celebrated, in the NBA, some believe the WNBA applies a stricter standard when players publicly criticize officiating. That perception has fueled broader discussions about the league's culture, transparency, and how it balances protecting officials with allowing athletes to speak openly. Ironically, many believe the league's disciplinary actions had the opposite of their intended effect. Instead of quieting the conversation, the fines brought even more attention to Cunningham's criticism and renewed public scrutiny of WNBA officiating. The controversy spread rapidly across social media, with fans continuing to debate whether the league's response amplified the issue rather than resolving it. The discussion has also expanded to concerns about consistency in league discipline. Some fans have argued that questionable on-court incidents appear to receive less attention than criticism directed at officiating, leading to questions about priorities and accountability. Cunningham herself acknowledged that officiating is a difficult job, saying that everyone makes mistakes. However, she questioned how repeated missed calls in clear situations can be explained, arguing that the conversation extends far beyond any single game or individual referee. For many observers, the debate is no longer about one player or one fine. Instead, it has become part of a larger conversation about transparency, consistency, and confidence in the league's officiating. Fans, players, and analysts continue to ask how trust can grow if concerns about officiating are perceived to be met with punishment rather than discussion. Whether or not those concerns are justified, the controversy has intensified calls for greater accountability and clearer communication from the league. As the debate continues, many are left wondering what happens next. Will this controversy lead to meaningful changes in officiating and league policies, or will it simply deepen the divide between players and league leadership? One thing is certain: Sophie Cunningham's comments have sparked a conversation that extends well beyond basketball, keeping questions about fairness, free expression, and accountability at the center of the WNBA spotlight. The controversy has also drawn renewed attention to officiating itself. Many fans have admitted that they've watched WNBA games and questioned whether every call was made consistently. Cunningham's remarks tapped into those frustrations, turning what may have once been isolated complaints into a league-wide discussion about the standards, expectations, and transparency surrounding officiating. Cunningham has repeatedly acknowledged that officiating is one of the most difficult jobs in professional sports. However, according to this narrative, her concern is not about the occasional missed call but about what she believes is a pattern of inconsistency. Supporters who share her view argue that these concerns have become increasingly difficult to ignore, pointing to post-game reactions from players, coaching adjustments, and growing frustration among fans as evidence that officiating has become a major topic of discussion. Her comments did not emerge in isolation. Instead, they tapped into concerns that many fans and observers say have existed for years. The debate intensified following several highly publicized incidents involving Caitlin Clark, with some supporters arguing that physical play against star players has not always been officiated consistently. Those moments quickly spread across social media, where fans questioned whether certain fouls were being enforced fairly and why similar situations sometimes appeared to receive different treatment. As the discussion grew louder, many players, analysts, and fans began asking the same questions about the consistency of officiating. Rather than ending the debate, the league's disciplinary actions against Cunningham became another focal point. Although a $500 fine may seem relatively small on its own, many supporters viewed it as symbolic, believing it discouraged players from openly discussing concerns about officiating. Cunningham's subsequent podcast appearance only brought the issue back into the spotlight, extending the conversation far beyond a single social media post. Critics of the league's approach argue that the WNBA appears more willing to discipline public criticism than to address concerns raised by players and fans. Whether or not that perception is accurate, it has contributed to a widening divide between some supporters and league leadership. Many believe that transparency and open communication are essential for maintaining trust, while others argue that protecting the integrity of officials is equally important. The debate has therefore evolved into a broader discussion about accountability, player expression, and the future direction of the league. For many observers, Cunningham's willingness to speak publicly has come to represent more than one disagreement over officiating. It has become part of a larger conversation about the league's credibility, its relationship with players, and how criticism should be handled in professional sports. Supporters continue to ask how long calls for greater transparency can go unanswered before confidence in the system begins to erode. When comparing the WNBA with other major sports leagues, many fans point to differences in how officiating controversies are handled. The NFL, for example, has experienced its own share of highly controversial officiating decisions, including the widely discussed 2019 NFC Championship game no-call involving the New Orleans Saints. Those incidents often receive extensive public analysis from the media, league officials, and former players, creating an ongoing discussion about officiating standards and accountability. Supporters who compare the two leagues argue that the WNBA has taken a different approach by responding more aggressively to public criticism from players. Cunningham's reported fines became a lightning rod for debate, prompting petitions, widespread social media discussion, and renewed calls for greater transparency in officiating. Rather than ending the controversy, the disciplinary actions drew even more attention to the concerns she had raised. Many believe that inconsistent officiating can have consequences beyond individual games. It can affect how fans view the fairness of competition, influence player confidence, and shape public perception of the league as a whole. If players become reluctant to speak because they fear disciplinary action, some argue that valuable feedback may never reach the public. Others maintain that leagues must balance open criticism with respect for officials and the integrity of the game. Ultimately, Cunningham's story has become about more than fines or one player's frustrations. It has evolved into a wider debate over transparency, accountability, and trust in professional sports. Whether the controversy leads to meaningful reforms or gradually fades from the spotlight, it has already sparked an important conversation about how leagues respond when players publicly question officiating and whether those responses strengthen or weaken the relationship between the sport and its fans. According to this narrative, Cunningham was never trying to create controversy simply to gain attention or increase her popularity. Given her growing profile, she could likely have generated significant online engagement by repeatedly discussing officiating on social media. Instead, she chose to speak directly about what she viewed as problems with the league's officiating, at one point even describing the referees in harsh terms. While those comments drew criticism and disciplinary action, they also resonated with many supporters who believed she was voicing concerns that had existed within the league for years. What has stood out throughout the controversy is the persistence of both players and fans in keeping the conversation alive. The discussions across social media have gone beyond simple online arguments, evolving into broader calls for greater transparency, consistency, and accountability. For many supporters, Cunningham's comments did not create the controversy. They merely brought greater attention to issues they believed had already been present. Rather than quieting the discussion, the league's response arguably intensified it. Critics contend that disciplining outspoken players has only increased public interest in officiating standards and strengthened demands for reform. As the debate continues to grow, many believe the WNBA has reached an important crossroads. The league now faces the challenge of balancing respect for its officials with growing calls for openness and accountability from players and fans alike. The controversy has also expanded into a larger discussion about credibility and freedom of expression within professional sports. Some observers have questioned whether players should face additional discipline for publicly discussing league fines or officiating concerns. Cunningham herself explained on her podcast that her general manager informed her, in front of the team, about another fine. While she acknowledged that officiating is an extremely difficult profession and praised many referees for their work, she maintained that inconsistent calls remain a legitimate concern deserving of discussion. Supporters argue that if players consistently believed officiating was fair and reliable, there would be far less reason for them to publicly express frustration after games. From that perspective, the controversy reflects deeper concerns about consistency rather than isolated complaints. Critics of the league's approach believe that responding primarily with discipline transformed what began as one player's grievance into a much broader debate about player speech, league authority, and accountability. The timing has only intensified the scrutiny. As public discussion surrounding the WNBA continues to grow, questions about player safety, officiating, and freedom of expression have become recurring topics across sports media and online communities. Cunningham's situation has therefore become part of a much larger conversation about whether athletes feel comfortable voicing concerns without fear of disciplinary consequences. Many fans have also contrasted the league's response to public criticism with its handling of on-court incidents involving high-profile players, including Caitlin Clark. Some supporters believe certain physical plays have not resulted in sufficient disciplinary action, while public criticism of officiating has been met more quickly. Others argue that those situations involve different league rules and should not be directly compared. Regardless of where opinions fall, these comparisons have fueled continued debate about consistency in league decision-making.